There's none there. Damn it. Remodeling is never done, right? Just do it slowly. So today I am going to be testing the damper. I spent some time last night and yesterday getting the Mtron hooked up on the STI, and this morning getting some more things ironed out on that. Um, I almost have all the settings in the Mtron set up so that I can do the testing in as efficient and controlled of method as possible. Um, Seeing as how a crankshaft damper's job is twofold. Um, Protect the engine and protect the accessories from torsional vibrations. Hey guys, hey James, hey, I don't know what Mr. Physical's name really is. So, hi, dude, what's up? Um, so, you have to protect the engine itself, the components inside the engine, and the accessories bolted to the engine. And those components can include things like the timing belt and timing chain, crank rods, bearings, pistons. Chip, hey Chip, what's up, dude? Um, Inside the engine from torsional vibrations. Torsional vibration. What are torsional vibrations? Torsional vibrations are, well, if you think about the word alone, torsion. So, torsion is twisting. So, if I have a twisting like this, right, and the crankshaft is doing that, it's just rotating in a circle, supposedly, right? But it's not. It's actually oscillating as it rotates in that circle. As the piston is moving towards top dead center, you're applying a load via compression to the piston, the rod, the crankshaft, and therefore it's slowing down. And then as the combustion event happens, the crankshaft will speed back up again. So, sorry, I saw a text come in on the chat. So the crankshaft will speed back up again, right? And so that constant change in crankshaft speed as it's rotating causes torsional vibrations. That's one of the sources of torsional vibrations. So a crankshaft damper, not a balancer, right? It's very key that people understand the difference between a balancer and a damper. A balancer is used for engine vibrations due to engine balance. Now that's something different. That's the movement of weight inside the engine, whether it's on the crankshaft, the pistons or rods going up and down, things like that. This is damper, and the damper is for the acceleration and deceleration of the crankshaft during normal operation, and that is mostly independent of balance in general. So you may have also heard internal and external balancing. Internal balancing means that the engine is balanced, i.e. all the weights are matched up, essentially, inside the engine, independent of the damper, independent of the flywheel. Some engines have a flywheel, and some engines use their harmonic balancer, which is usually a crankshaft pulley or a hub or something associated with it attached to the front of the crankshaft, to balance the engine. That would be an externally balanced engine. The EJ, and every horizontally opposed engine really, is internally balanced. If you've ever looked at the the crankshaft for an EJ, you'll see that it practically has no counterweights. It has just a little bit of a disc off the back side of it, and that is really only a counterweight for the crankshaft itself. It is not a counterweight for pistons and rods like you would find on a big V8 crank. You see these really large counterweights on an inline or a V engine, and those big, hefty, heavy-duty counterweights, those weigh more than the the rod journal on the other side of it, the pin, as it's called. Whereas on the Subaru crankshaft, it does not. It weighs about the same. So, anyways, this isn't about balance. I guess that's what I'm getting at. I got myself a mild case of carbon monoxide poisoning this morning. I had the door open to the shop and the breezeway door open as well while I was in the garage or shop working on the Mtron, getting the car running right, getting the set parameters set up and all of that. But the ventilation was inadequate. So for the testing, I'm going to have to back the car up closer to the garage door and wear more clothes because it's a freaking blizzard outside. Which is probably why my internet connection isn't very good, because I'm on microwave between a tower that's out 2 miles that direction, and the roof of my house in the middle of the prairie. So let me show you guys some snow. I say blizzard, but it's not total blizzard. But there's still a lot of snow, and it's falling pretty good. But I can still see a quarter mile. That's about a half mile. I can see a half mile. So half mile visibility isn't complete blizzard, right? So what am I gonna do? Well, I gotta clear myself up a little bit of this mild case of carbon monoxide poisoning. I have to get my damper, and I have to put the silicone fluid in it and seal it up, and I think that's it. And then I'm going to put the lightweight pulley, not mine, I'm going to put the Perrin lightweight pulley on the car, and I'm going to log my crankshaft speeds, and then I'm going to put my lightweight pulley on it, log them again, then I'll put my damper on my pulley, log it again, and then we'll put the stock one back on and back up the original measurements that we got. So that'll be the plan here in about an hour or so. I gotta get this thing together first. Let me answer some of these messages that came through real quick. See what we got. Oh my effing God, do I hate banks. That is all carry on. Me too, man. I hate banks as well. And I have a credit union, and every commercial they have is like, we're on your side, we're for you, we love you, we spread all that blah, blah, blah. And every time I dealt with some of the people there, I was like, oh, you're a dick. And their policies were just absolute ass. And yeah, I dropped them. As a credit union that always bragged about how friendly they were to their clients and how much they cared about their well-being and financial shit. And then they had some stupid... They fined me $25 saying I didn't pay my credit card payment, and my balance was $1,250. And I had just paid $4,800 and paid the car off. I paid the card off like weeks before, so I was like, "Fuck those guys." And then there was a bunch of other shit that they'd done, and I was like, "Screw it," you know. I went to another bank. I had $40,000 in cash in my pocket because I just cleaned out that other account, and I went to another bank, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to open an account." Oh, you got to make an appointment and blah blah blah. You got the schedule. I'm like, I'll just take my money elsewhere. Like, if I have something going on and I need to get my money out, or I need to, you know, apply for something or get stuff figured out, I don't want to have to make a fucking appointment. You know, I want someone that's looking to do business, right? So I took my money somewhere else. Wish I still had that money. Who wouldn't want 40 grand, right? But when you're buying big stuff, it happens. My credit union told me they won't process a mortgage for $350 worth of land. My main bank will process the loan, but won't tell me how much they will loan me until I cash out $100K of crypto. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, right? It's really weird. Banks are funny about land. And I don't know why. I think it's because ultimately if the government wanted to take it from you, they would, and they can. And they do, whether it's eminent domain or whatever else. They can just jack your land all the time. You'd think we were natives or something. They doing the Highway 41 expansion over here in northern Idaho, and everyone that had land along that highway lost acres because they just were like, nope, we're turning this 2-lane road into about 6 or 8 wide, and they took hundreds of feet off of the width of the road and just took it right out people's land. This one house that used to be on the corner of Lancaster and 41. He had a good spot. He had a barn. He had this big grove of trees. He was just off the highway. Great spot. Now that grove of trees is gone. The barn's gone. And his house is on the edge of a 4-lane fucking highway. They probably took 200, 300 feet out of his property right to his house. Right there. So they got screwed on that. But yeah, banks like to loan on land. I have no idea if that has any reason, to do with it or not. But I have developers calling me all the time. They want my spot. I got 10 acres here on the prairie, and all the cities are slowly expanding in this direction. And they're putting housing developments in, just down the street. And there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses here in this area that are still 10-acre or more parcels, and they're all like, "Fuck you guys, we're not selling." And they're gonna be really pissed off when I sell. I didn't buy this place to be my forever home because it's on a freaking prairie. I want some mountains. I want hillside on my property. But I bought it for an investment, so when the price is right, I'll sell. But they probably don't want to hear that. Also, what else pissed me off about banks? I used to get a lot of customers that paid in cash when I was at MPS, and they would fine me. I call it a fine. They call it a fee. It's the same fucking thing for bringing in cash. I was like, what? Like, yeah, it's a handling fee. And it was a few percent. I brought in 16 grand one time, and she's like, oh, you're over your cash limit. We got to fine you for that. Like, what is this world coming to when the actual tender, the actual currency is now too inconvenient to use that they want to fine you for using it? And then, of course, even though it's a business, I still had to do IRS documentation because I was depositing over a certain value and all this shit. It was stupid. It was dumb. So yeah, banks and credit unions are the worst. I agree. I'm with you on that there, Fox. Drop because of the house stuff. Ashton, I wanted to drop the mortgage company because of the house stuff, but I needed a mortgage. And but yeah, my refi, they took, what was it, 6 months or something to do a refi? That was torture. So if you guys been through that, I get it. Let me tell you. Let's see. Here in violently disgusting New Jersey, it's roughly 50 degrees and raining. Wow. I mean, I'd take 50 and raining right now over that. I don't have snow tires on my Beamer, so that sucks. I definitely don't have snow tires on the STI because it's got the works, or the gram lights with R888s on them. So that ain't going in the snow. Those are the ones I couldn't get the socket from the Mishimoto for, which I got. Oh, speaking of which I got. There it is. Next to empty beer bottle from last night. Speaking of which, let's get rid of that. So, yeah, I had to buy a lug nut set for the socket. Yay. And Matt, nobody Matt, he's got some stock wheels for me. So eventually I'll get some stock wheels on it and put some snow tires on those, or put some snow tires on my other back. Oh, I got a set of snow tires, don't I? But they're for an RS, so they're really small. So it looked funny on the STI, I think, with these tiny little tires on it. Anyways, so I just want to give you guys an update. Let you know the damper testing is coming very, very soon. It will be here in probably, like I said, about an hour. I was waiting for this carbon monoxide poisoning to wear off a little bit, and then I am going to go back to it. Oh, there we go. That's weird. My stuff didn't load. All of a sudden, I got 13 messages. Navy Federal or USAA? I dumped them both. I used to have both of them, actually. Navy Federal. Navy Federal's the fucking worst, man. I hate Navy Federal. USAA is not much better. USAA is like, oh, we're for members and all this kind of stuff. Man, when I first got out of the military and I was going through a divorce and it was during the collapse, right, in 2008, going through divorce, going through a foreclosure. I got out of the military. The place I just got a job for went under. And so I went from basically 3 incomes because I had a job outside of the Navy. I was in the Navy. Then my wife was in the Navy. And then both of us got out within a month. She's like, I'm out. I'm moving to California with my dad and get my boobs done. and then the place I went to work for closed because of the recession. So I went from everything to nothing in a heartbeat. And USA, you know what they did? They raised my insurance rates. When my credit score dropped, they raised my insurance rates. Now, there's supposed to be an insurance credit score, and there's supposed to be a regular credit score. But since I had my credit card, my banking, and my insurance through USAA. As soon as my credit score started to drop, they raised all my insurance rates. I'm like, how is that going to help me? Like, how is that going to help, me get by right now? No. Yeah, I guess maybe they thought maybe I was going to commit insurance fraud or something. I don't know. But screw USAA. And then Navy Federal, back in 2000, when I was in the Navy, I was in Pearl Harbor. I was living in an apartment, townhouse, same fucking thing, really, right? And it was really nice. And the guy wanted to sell it. He was giving me a screaming deal on it, like 25 to 30% less than market value on it. And so I wanted to buy it. So I go to Navy Federal, and I apply for this loan. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can't give you this loan. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's slightly more than a year's income. Like, I'm getting such a good deal on it. And they're like, yeah, but it shows here you owe us $65,000. I'm like, what? Again, it says you're $65,000 in debt. I'm like, I have $3,000 in debt. They're like, well, it says right here 65. I'm like, hold on a second, let me see that. My credit report. I'm like, these are all your account numbers. And they're like, yeah. I go, and they're all the same number. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, and you know that account is only $3,000. Yeah. I'm like, so then why are you saying I'm 65? Well, your report says 65. I'm like, hold on a second. So you guys, every time I refinanced a loan, you add it to my credit report, didn't report the other one paid off. So now it says I got 65K in debt, although you know it's 3 and you won't loan to me. And they're like, yep. I'm like, so then fix my credit report. Oh, well, that's not our responsibility. I'm like, it's your responsibility to fuck it up. It's not your responsibility to fix it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I didn't get that house. I got totally screwed on that. I had to move out. I lost that opportunity. I lost like $100,000 because by the time I left Hawaii, just 2 years later, the place had gone up over 200-something thousand, and I was getting it for 95. Yeah, they fucked me. So screw Navy Federal, man, they suck. There's a lot of stuff going on here in the chat. I can't keep up right now. I didn't receive a 36 pulley that I know of, but I haven't been to the shop in a couple days. So maybe it is there now. No. Uh-oh. The back. There it goes. Sorry, guys. Pentagon Federal Credit Union. I am not a Fed. I do not glow. Dude, I couldn't use cash for a down payment on my own house. Yeah, man. If you're still here, I hear you. The no cash thing is annoying as shit. What's bail in? Is that like, hey, this is going to crash. Let me go be part of it? Yeah, blow my nose. Give me a second. I gotta fix that right there. Gotta fix that spot. Just add that to my list. I got a long list. Okay, let's see, where are we at? Banks ought to bail in. Can I prove you had or something? They didn't source the money because the bill itself in the car sold for a month. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man, I've been there too, dude. I did the exact same thing. I sold a car that I'd financed, and I sold it for like $17,500 after I'd paid it off. So I had $17,500 in cash, and I went to go pay for something else. And like, yeah, you gotta do like an IRS form and all this other crap and provide documentation and where the money came from to make sure you're not laundering money. Like, shut the fuck up. All these rules, it's crazy. Like, if you keep money in a safe because you're smart, you're also dumb because the IRS is mad at you now. Because they're like, well, maybe that money changed hands. And if it changed hands, we need our tax. I mean, if I hand money to somebody, they want their tax money out of that. Well, that was a sale. That's income for that person. That's whatever. And it's, I mean, we had tea parties for less, for a lot less than what we deal with now. I'm sure our forefathers be rolling over in their graves right now. They knew what kind of shit we put up with. But yeah, some of that stuff is just so messed up. No, if I was Hispanic, it would have been allowed because they work in agricultural stuff and they allow it. Oh boy, yeah, that's weird stuff. I lost out 20 acres with a water company in a national park as my neighbors. I've never had to deal with human again. Dude, there is a lot to be said about that. There was a bunch of acreage about 50 miles east of here that was for sale, and it was $800 an acre, which is nothing, right? And that was just a couple years ago. It was $800 an acre. No plans for development, no utilities, nothing. But it was only a couple miles off the highway. So in the future, there could be. It was only a couple miles. I really wanted to buy some of that. I really wanted to get about 20 or 40 acres of it. That'd have been sweet. Just nothing. Most of it was mountainside. It was all trees and mountains. Anything that was going to be flat, you'd probably have to make yourself because there wasn't any flat land on it. But still, just to have 40 acres in the mountains and not have to deal with anything, I could build a fucking cabin. I could make a windmill and and a couple of them had streams running through them. I could make a water wheel. As an electrician, I can make all kinds of stuff. I could generate electricity. I could add batteries, solar, do whatever. If I absolutely need to live off the grid, I could absolutely do it. Or if I wanted, like a hunting cabin or something, like that'd be awesome. 40 acres, middle of freaking nowhere. Like I said, only a few miles off the highway, but you had to go like 5 miles past to take an exit, come around again, and then go up into the mountains a bit. But it was only, like I said, it was only a few miles out there, but there was nothing. There was no power. There was nothing. It was owned by a mining company, and they never mined out there because the mines got shut down due to all the EPA problems they had and everything. So just a bunch of acreage with beautiful trees and nothing. I'm sure somebody's bought it like Weyerhaeuser or Boise Cascade or somebody by now to log it or to plan on logging it. But I'm really upset I missed out on that. It was right at the same time I bought this house, so it was not a good financial decision to drop more money into that when I didn't have it to spend in the first place. So, anyways, I'm gonna get together. I feel feeling more together now that I'm not as lightheaded and dizzy from all the carbon monoxide I was sucking this morning. I'm gonna see if I can put this damper together. I got the silicone oil. Probably need another jacket. Yeah, I'll go with that first. And then, actually, let me show you guys real quick, since some of you came back. Oh, wow, it does smell like exhaust in here bad. It's weird how fast you get used to it. Jesus. I'm going to open the door and grab my jacket. Wow. And I had doors open when I had the car running. I just don't feel much wind, even though it was snowing so much, a lot. This is my breezeway area it's not totally legal. I mean, I have an engineering report who signed off on it before I bought the house. But I'm looking at some of the ways that it's put together, and I'm fairly certain they do not go along with the code for a thing like that. Huh. Heard a lot of bang. Maybe that was my garage door falling off its rails. So once I get the other part of the shop built, I'll probably tear this breezeway area down and build a fresh one that's done right. If I don't start building another house first. Luckily, my wife's got a job. She can't pay for this crap. cooling mods only get you so far. Tuck it in my shirt because it's cold. I need like the GoPro helmet or something that I can wear and get a little POV action. This is Dom working on cars. This is, oh, it was that door shutting from the wind. This is Dom working on cars. This is Dom taking a piss. Just kidding about the piss part. Shit. My Corvette's outside in the snow right now. Got the truck and trailer over there to block the wind for those little bushes that we planted in the fall. The wind can get blowing through here, and those poor guys need all the help they can get. As you can see, it's pretty flat. There are mountains there, you just can't see them. Anybody want a turbo kit? I gotta sell this turbo kit. I just never put it online yet. All those hoses everywhere. That's also from the fuel system. Stuff we pulled out of this car. But I gotta get it all cleaned up and ready to go so I can sell it. It's an ETS kit. 64, 66 or 60, 64, 62, 60, something like that. Something in the 60s. I forget. Looks like it's a small turbine housing. I don't know. Anyways, so here's our setup. M-Tron hooked up to the factory harness. Wideband going through the window because that's as professional as it gets. So I got wideband going through the window. The downpipe. Because this M-Tron is only in here for this testing. And that O2 sensor is actually for the AM wideband that's in the car. It's the same sensor that they use on the wideband as the M-Tron uses, so it was really easy. Just unclip the AM, plug in the M-Tron, boop, boop, good to go. So right now the M-Tron's running off the AM. I'm sorry, off of the wideband there. And, I mean, basically a bone stock 15 STI engine with a turbo back on it. I say basically, that is what it is. It's bone stock with a turbo back. It's actually a 2020 STI engine in this 15. This car's only got 13,000 miles on it, and the engine's got 4,000. Okay, so the M-Tron's a KV8. It's a really cool ECU. It's got a boom sling harness. They make good harnesses. I wish they had different wire colors, just so that you could like trace stuff out better if you needed to troubleshoot anything. Losing a wire in a mess of green is tough business, but that's what they have. That's their thing. The green is their thing, so I get it. Let's go inside now. Probably don't need the heater, huh? Should probably turn the heater off. Oh, this is the insulation I need for the rest of the shop. I've got a lot of it insulated so far, but I still have to finish the roof, and then that corner over there, and this corner over here still need to get insulated. Turn this guy off. Okay. Here's a nameless exhaust too, if anyone wants one of them. Sell that. All right. Let's get in the car here. This fucking old bitch. All right. I probably don't need the battery charger anymore, so I can fire this up and back it up. Get it closer to the door. And then I'll show you. Oops. All right. I'll show you what we're doing. And I'll show you my concerns. Yank my laptop across the shop floor in accident. Put that in here, just for backing it up sake. All right. Oh! All right. pitch the boys. Yeah, I'm trying. Shut up. Alright. That's closer. Let me get a little more. There we go. I got my door. Enough room with the pressure washer. Okay. If you haven't used an M-Tron before, they're pretty powerful. Probably one of the more powerful systems on the market. They do all kinds of stuff. Right now, I have this set up even at as mass airflow. I'm even using mass airflow sensor right now. That's how vanilla this is going to be. The idea was, if the mass airflow sensor works and I know the MAF calibration, then I don't need a VE map because it knows the MAF calibration. So that's what it's using right now. It's got this really cool thing here. Go to ECU runtimes, go to engine air mass. You can see that it calculates air mass based on manifold pressure if I wanted to. I could enable air mass based on map, or I could just measure it with a mass airflow sensor. So I'm measuring that airflow sensor. And this system will blend. I can have it blend if I wanted to. So in my car, when it's back up and running again, it'll have a big 4-inch intake with the GM mass airflow sensor in it. And I'm going to use that for the top end. I'm not going to use that for the bottom end. I'll use that for measuring airflow when I'm in power. And on the bottom end, I'll use the map. And what you can do is you can blend them together in certain regions. So on the very at idle, like I said, all map. And then I can blend it into MAF through intermediate ranges where the mass airflow sensor signal becomes more steady and stable and reliable, and then go solely to MAF if I want as well, so you can blend it. And so the air mass final data is here, so we can see here that the final is 5.6, my map is 5.6, so, or MAF, I'm sorry, same thing, 5.556, so we know that it's using just the MAF for the calculation. But I can go in tables and I can activate a blending on it by doing this. If I go to configure, then I can go to my calculator time for air mass modeled, go to setup, and see here I have one that's just the MAF meter. The second one, I can take this and I can make it map sensor if I want. So I can go manifold pressure sensor is number 1, then hit escape, and go to the blend table. So here I can blend between the two of them. So if we look right now, this is where we're at. 0 means we're on the primary one, which is the MAF. This is pretty cool. So now I take this, if I select this, put this to 100, it'll go to the map sensor. It might die because the map sensor is off a little bit, but it's definitely gonna run leaner. All right, did it go? It didn't go. 4747. What did I forget? Oh, I forgot something. Let's see, so that was the run times. I gotta go to fuel, fuel main. Fuel model setup right there. Number 8. There we go. So now it's on air mass parameter blend. Is that the right one? So these are all the boys you can blend them. So I gotta make sure I have it right. Air mass modeled parameter blend. Okay, and that's what I have. Or mass airflow sensor plus air mass modeled. So you can do this one by itself, and then you could double blend it. So you could double weight the mass airflow sensor if you wanted into the blending. Or not. You could use 2 completely different parameters in the air mass model blended section, and then blend it with that. So you can use EMAP and MAP, and then use I don't know, throttle position or whatever it is you wanted to use on that one too. So alright, so we can do some nice, awesome. Oh yeah, throttle mass LSO too. So I could use throttle mass flow if I wanted, combined with in this model here, and blend them in this. So you can do all kinds of things and blend a bunch into it. So that's really weird though, is that my mass total is less than both my map and my MAF. So apparently I got something set wrong, but that's not the way I have this thing tuned in the first place. So
Let's double check what we got. So if I go to 0, that's all speed. Oopsie, that didn't work. Let's go here. There we go. If I do 0, that's all speed density. That's all map sensor. And that's strictly based on the VE table. Oh no, that one's they do map? Yeah. Then they have BAP, which is barometric pressure. I haven't even tried to figure out how the fuck that works. I think that just becomes throttle position and barometric pressure. Then 2, straight mass airflow. So that's off the mass airflow sensor. Bank mass airflow, bank speed density, bank mass, air mass model. Yeah, air mass model, that should work. That should run, but it's not, it's dropping it down. So I must have one of my other tables set up as a over here. Tuning, fuel, throttle mass flow correction? No, because that's not what we're using, but give it 0. Air mass modifier? No, that one's adding 3%, so that ain't it. Fuel model blend table. Maybe this is the one. Let's try this one. 1 hundo. Oopsie. 1 hundo. Oh yeah, it is there. I was looking at that like a dumbass. So I was right the whole time. I'm sorry. On the MAF, the top one is grams per second. I looked at PSI going, why isn't it going right? But here you go. There's the map airflow. So it was working the whole time. I'm just silly. I'm a silly guy. Let's see. Okay, configure. Let's go back again. Configure. Channels, runtimes, air mass model setup, MAF and pressure. Yep, sure enough. Hit escape, go back to the previous menu. Hit blend table. 100%. Okay, that's right. 3.3 and 3.3. It's right there, not 5. 3.3, 3.3. Now if I go 0, I gotta select it first. I go back to 0 on that. Then that goes all to MAF. So you'll see here now the MAF 4.4 4. And that was still down at 2.9 now. Now if I go 50, then I get the difference of the two. So I have 4.2 and basically 3.0. The difference of that's 3.6. So that's how the blending works on that. It was working the whole time. I just saw PSI and not grams per second because I'm looking through my phone, and that's not the best way to do that. But we're not using MAP, so we're strictly with MAF. And we'll go back to that again and turn off this guy. Strictly MAF today. So that's how that works. And in my car, like I said, I'll end up doing those two. I'll go MAP here and MAF here, and then blend it to 100% on the very top end and leave the MAP for the bottom end and do that. People are like, wait, you're gonna use MAF on your car at 800 plus horsepower? Yes, I am. As long as the MAF will flow it. I will. Okay. So, let's see, let's go to search DRPM. So this is the function we're going to use here. DRPM right here. So this tells us the instantaneous change of the crankshaft. Now, what I noticed when I logged this is that it averages out about 3 inputs. And I don't like that. I didn't want it to average out. I want it to be more sensitive. Now, there are RPM smoothing tables in here that I've used for certain things, and so I'm gonna fuck with the smoothing and see if that number will go up or down more, because, you know, this -20, +20 thing, I mean, if I can drop that in half, then that's stellar. And if I put the parent on here and it doubles it, then we know that that's a difference. But using such small numbers means potentially lower resolution, and I'm trying to maximize resolution on this. So let's see, let's go to tuning, and I'm going to go to some of my actually go configure inputs, see if I have a, oh no, I know where it's at, engine setup, here we go. Crank index offset, ignition delay time, 40 microseconds. I thought the Subarus were like 115 microseconds on that. Don't care. I'm also going to lock the ignition so that there's no ignition timing messing with the crankshaft. So what happens, I'll set the ignition timing, I'll lock it like this is at 20, and then any crankshaft changes are crankshaft changes. Whereas normally I have the idle control system reacting off of DRPM and adjusting timing based on that value. Well, I don't want it to do that because I want to see what's actually happening here. So I'll lock the timing at 20 degrees like it is right now, and do the test that way. So we'll turn that off right for now. And then, gosh darn it, come on. Crank index setup. Pull-ups off, falling. I could have swore there was a filter in here somewhere. Arming threshold. No. Oops. Sync sensor. That's for the cam. Oh, that's wrong. That explains why it was lean. Save that. Okay. Yeah, I don't see a smoother in this one. I thought I had a smoothing option in the engine setup, but I don't. I don't have it in the idle control stuff. Vehicle switches, VT, speed, vehicle speed. Let's see, most pros, turbodynamics, OEM. This is all output stuff. I wouldn't do anything. Load calculation, air mass final, 5-volt reference. Nope. Okay, so I guess it's only in the. Come on, I'm clicking on you. Oh poop! I was hoping there was a good smoothing function I could turn down. We have an idle speed control. Check this out. That one. And the PID set up here, so RPM filter 8, so it goes 0, and then it'll respond very quickly to changes in RPM, but I don't think this one feed forwards into the runtime, so that'd be weird if it did. Oh shit, maybe it does. Those are bigger numbers than I saw before. Look at the logger. One thing I don't like is I wish it showed the log while you're logging. It just does it afterwards. Engine speed, here we go. Where did my DRPM go? I had it set up already. You bastard! Okay, so you can see here it uses these points to determine how fast it's changing. But what I don't like about it is it's averaging it over multiple samples. Instead of just being 2 samples and achieving a speed, it's doing it over, looks like 3 samples. Let's see, maybe 4 samples even. And I don't like that. I don't want a 4 sample average. I want it to be more active than that. Because I can see right here, from this point to this point, this alone is a big drop. This one comes up a little bit, then there's a big drop. So it averaged that big over these 4 and gave us a big downward trend. But I want to see it even more accurate than these 4 samples taken in whatever period of time that is. Because some of this, like this big trend here, this is just going to be idle control system doing its thing. It's these small squiggles that I want to attack. These small squiggles are what I'm trying to smooth out. So let's save this one here. And then I'll put the parent lightweight on here and we'll see what happens. I guess it's managed, but I thought I had to save it first. No, I gotta save it here. Okay. That's the one. Alright, close. That's the start. That's where it just was. Continuous logger. AC logger. Save it. DRPM testing. So I can also export this into a CSV if I want and utilize these values on my own and do my own DRPM calculation instead of averaging it over 4 cells. Do it instantaneous between 2 cells, 2 points, and then get my own DRPM value. So if this doesn't show it effectively because it averaged it too much, then I can still take the raw data for the RPM from the crankshaft and use that use that into a calculation. Now the other thing is though is that I'm a little bummed out about is that this resolution isn't very fine either. This is a little over half a second, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 or so samples in half a second. There's a number of engine revolutions happening in half a second. I would like to get that a little more accurate. If we do the ECU logger, maybe I can get a faster logging rate. Here we go, here's a 100 hertz logging rate. Let's do a 500 hertz logging rate. We'll use the internal logger and see if we get better results. Just run ahead, ignition angle, RPM, and I'll add MAF 2, just mass airflow 1. Sure, that works for me. Alright, so hit OK. I'm going to save that data set. I'm going to save this as DRPM data, like so. Greater than 0, greater than 0, greater than 0. So I want to activate it. channel 2. Value of 0 means the setting is ignored. Perfect. Alright. So I need to set up my user channel 2, sorry, to be what parameter I want to activate this by. So I need to do is I need to find a parameter that I can change in the car to activate the logging internally during this testing. So, I mean, the most easiest thing to do would be the brake switch. I'm not using the brake switch sitting here, right? So if I activate the data logger every time I push the foot brake, then what I can do is start the car, get in it, or install the damper, start the car, and then when I want to take a log, just hold the brake down and have it record while I'm holding the brake. So we'll do that. So now we need to set up user 2. Then once you set up user 2, then it'll be easy. All I have to do is hold the brake and the log will happen. User 1. Oh yeah, I gotta go here first. One thing about these systems is that there's just so much to them. User temp, user pressure, user function. There we go. Oh, was that function output or was that input? Which was that? We gotta see which one that was. User channel 2. Okay. Well, it sure seems like it's an output to me. Output 2. But it's not telling me. Oh, it ain't that one. User output. Well, that's the input. I want the output. Well, shoot. I don't know what I'm doing on this one. I gotta look that one up. I thought I was just gonna be that user map there, but that's an analog input. Never had to use a user before. Usually you just set the... Come on. Oh, come on. Riveting. There we go. That took a while. Oh, of course, they have nothing about it right there. Of course. User channels, here we go. one's on. So I'm going to try that the way I had the other one set up. Output number 2. On, but no output. I don't need an output. Is it switched? Yep, it's switched. Okay, there. That's probably correct. And then we'll go to tuning. User function 2. Setup. So I just want it to be brake switch 1 on, greater than or equal to, oh, is that going to be voltage or just a switch? If it's just the voltage, then that's what I need. None. Condition 3 or 4, none. On-off delays, don't want any delays. 0, 0. There we go. So now we're going to say, okay. There we go. There it goes. So you see ECU log is on. I hit the brake again. Oops. So it turns on by itself. Now I got to turn it off. So I got to set that again. So logging. ECU logger. Setup. Stop condition. User 2. Okay. Oh, it's not turning off. My output's not changing. So let's go back to tuning. User functions. So I got to start. Wait, why did it just change on me? Did I click the wrong thing? I did. Oh. That's why. Let's try that. There it goes. Got it. Okay. I hit it 0, not 1, like a dumbass. Alright. So, now here we got it. ECU log is ready. It is not on. If I hold the brake, ECU log is logging. And then I can release the brake, and it's off. So then I can go to my ECU logs, ECU logger, download ECU logs, DRPM, whoopsie. DRPM stock idle. Say that. Sure. Okay. God dang it. Okay, I just hit F7. Alright, there's idle. Stock idle. Here we go. Okay. I didn't log for 90 seconds, right? Whatever. Let's zoom in on the spot. use this slider here to shrink it down to zoom in on a region, like so. Oh yeah, that's way more samples. Way more samples, look at that. It's still averaging out over 4, but that's okay. Because now here's 76 to 77 seconds. That's way more samples in that region. That's good news. Big one over there. Look at that sucker. 47, -32, 14.7, -26. -43. Anyways, there we go. So that's stock idle. So now we're gonna try, I need to set up a thing I want to set up to raise the idle so it holds it for me automatically, so that I don't have to sit and hold with my foot. So then I have to figure out another thing that I want to set up to do that. So potentially maybe turn the air conditioner on. No, I don't want to load the engine though. Oh, I can do AC request, but not have the clutch engaged. Have the AC requested, like that, and then when the AC request is high, I can tell it to bump the idle up. And then if I turn the AC request on as an input to the ECU, then it says, oh, now my new idle needs to be 2,000 RPM. Because otherwise I gotta try and hold it with my foot and not kill it. That's weird. I broke it. Well, that's weird. That shouldn't affect that at all. That shouldn't affect that at all. What was I showing you guys that I screwed with? That to 0, let's go to 8. What else did I screw with? This is Mtron. This is the Mtune software. But I was showing features of it, and I may have screwed things up and not put them back. I don't recall, as I was goofing off. Configure functions. Function output. Nope. Runtimes. I changed that back, didn't I? Air mass modeled. Yeah, math. 1, okay. I didn't change that. I changed that. I talked about changing those. What the hell did I change? Oh, did I select the timing? No, I turned off the timing lock, right? There we go. Weird. What else did I screw with? Tuning. Come on. Fuel. Blend table, did I change that one? Nope. Put it back. Air mass modifier table. That's fine. Starting. This was set up for ID 1050s and not stock injectors, so maybe I didn't do this part yet. Let me get one from stock injectors. Let me save that. Let me reboot. Since I've been fucking with stuff. There it goes. Heard it shut down. Huh. I fucked something up. Turn that down. No, that's fine. I didn't screw with that, did I? No, that was fine. This one? No, didn't screw with that. That's still good. Why is my cranking table negative 10 degrees? That's weird. Negative 10? What the fuck? They have negative 12 on this one. Can't say I've ever run negative 12 degrees to start the engine before. That's my RPM. 218. Okay, so I'm in my cranking range. Injector duty is 0. Yeah, injectors are only firing for 1 millisecond. Starting. Pre-injection. That's the prime. Okay, cranking. It's 55%. That ain't bad. Starts fine. Let's just make it 4. Negative. Let's just make it a huge change. Firing events. Just go big and see my injector duty cycle jump. My pulse width goes up. It's not. Why is my pulse width not going up? Interesting. That's weird. I've started this thing and turned it off fucking 50 times already, even warm. Now it doesn't want to start. So I don't know if I made an error somewhere when I was showing features and dig something up or what, but I don't see any reason why it should not be starting. That's really bizarre. Yeah, I somehow did. I don't know how. I don't even know how I broke it. That is really whack. Don't care about that. Post start, no. Pre-injection comp table. That's pretty high. But my pulse width isn't going up. So my injector pulse width is not going up as I add compensations for some reason. I don't understand. So I'm just gonna go 200. No, 2 times on that. So I doubled it there. And my pulse width is still probably going to stay 1.7 the whole time. Yeah, I don't understand why it's at 1.7. That's really bizarre. It ain't going to start at 1.7. It needs to be about 4.5 to 5.5 to start. So apparently one of those things I was dicking with, I didn't put back to normal. I'll go back to start over again. Let's see. Output, that's not messed with. That's internal. That's for the starter. That's fine. Starter's obviously working. And changing that. Communications don't change. Runtimes. Main. Load calculation. Air mass. Yep. Air mass modeled. That's all set up. Math meter 1. Yep. Yep. Run table should be all zeros for the math. Huh, maybe I should bump this map and see if it runs. Let's see what happens. Oh, map's not set up though. So we'll go to channels, runtimes, air mass modeled, setup, make this one be map sensor. Real quick. See if that changes my pulse width. Hey, look at that. So, keep that in mind. Note to self, use the map for the starting. I didn't have that set before though, and it was starting fine before. So that part's confusing me a little bit. I got some oscillations and stuff now. Come on, holy shit, this is slow. Restore this stuff to stock, whatever I reflector this. lot of smoke. Position angle 12. That's already 900 out of position. Lambda is 1 at a target. What's Lambda doing there? It's like whatever. I'm not driving this car with this ECU. I need to just get to testing. I'm all in here trying to freaking make everything perfect. Like it matters. Okay, so I wanted to do a different idle control setting. See if I can do that. Target offsets. User target offset table. Axis. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to enable an axis on this, and for my axis I'm going to do, let's see if I have AC request on here. AC switch, which should be the one here on the dash, which may or may not work, so we'll test that and see if it even works. I can do that. What else could I do? I think we'll try that. AC switch, we'll do that guy. And so this starting value, increment 1. Here I'll generate, oopsie, number of sites, I just need 2. Here I'll generate. Here I'll generate, there we go. Okay, so what I have here is AC switch 0 and 1. That means it's shut or it's open. And so I'm going to raise my idle 1,000 RPM based on it, right? So 1,000 RPM, hit OK. No, I'll do that. I screwed that up. I had to do it over here. 1,000, like that. So now I need to go and see if my AC switch even works. Configure, channels, input, AC pressure switch. No, that's not what I want. AC switch. Maybe in a vehicle. It is in a vehicle. Switches. AC switch DI4. Okay. Greater than 6. Off less than 5. That should be right. But I don't see anything happening. Oops. Run times. Go search. AC switch. So AC switch is CAN bus on this one. Okay, so that means I have to go close that again. Go to configure AC switch. That's weird actually, because according to my pinout, AC switch is DI4. AC request. Huh. We'll go OEM CAN and see if that works. So OEM CAN. CAN bus OEM. Okay. Utilities, runtimes. Search. AC switch. I don't see it. Where'd it go? That's weird. Let's do it again. AC. So you're supposed to click on it, and it takes you to it, and it's highlighted. But it's not doing that. There it goes. That was weird. Took 3 tries. So, right here. AC switch off. Let's turn it on. There we go. Okay, so you hear the RPM kick up now. So our RPM is currently at 1800. So that works. So that's how I'll do the test for different RPM settings. I'll use the AC switch to raise the RPM up. After it reaches the target RPM and stabilizes, I'll hit the foot brake, whoop, and then ECU logging comes on. So I'll get idle. I gotta fix that. That's obviously gotta be adjusted some. That's not gonna work. Turn that off. Okay. Functions, idle ignition control. I'm gonna turn that off, I think. No, I'm gonna turn on. I'm gonna turn off the PID setup. File, save, overwrite. I'm gonna save as. Come on. Testing. Alright, so I'm gonna say this some different name because I want to be able to restore it to non-whacked out idle control. So that clamp's gonna be 0. And then we're gonna go escape. Escape, PID gains will go 0. And derivative 0. Like that. So now our idle timing will lock at 13. Now, I don't know if it's going to change or turn off or go up when I hit the next button, so let's find out. Alright, so idle is still at 13 timing. But now our target is 2,000. It's having a hard time getting there though, because that's not really enough timing for 2,000 RPM. So, ignition control. Change this. That's engine temp. So we'll put a second axis on here. And for this axis, we'll put idle target RPM, like so. And then target RPM can start at 900. And actually, we'll do starting value 500, increment 500, number of sites 4, clear all, generate. I take that back. I want to go 8 because I want to do a 4001 as well. There we go. Sure. Okay, so now if our target L is 2,000, I want this thing to have more timing. So we're going to go 18, there we go, that's a little better. Go 24. Go 28. That's a little happier. Our old target table went away for some reason. Like this. Now this, to interpolate with Mtron, it's columns and rows. So, column C. Which I think is weird, instead of it being like you know, X and Y or horizontal and vertical, they do column and row. I don't fault them on it, but okay, so let's get more stable. I will work on that a little bit. So now we'll go back down to normal idle setting. Ignition idle is still too high. I goofed that up. I shouldn't have done a column there. Should have left it at 13. There we go. Look at that. Column there. Save that for testing. Okay, so there we go. We got 2 idle settings. I need a little more air control on it for the upwards. for the 2000 RPM. So now we're going to go to the idle control area again, but we'll do it for the speed. And this will be position offset. Position offset 1. Oh, she's mad at me. Oh, because I turned off the PID control for everything. Yeah. So position offset, I'm going to go 2. I gotta change the axis on that one. This is going to be AC switch. And this is going to be nothing. And a starting value of 0. Increment of 1. Number of sites 2. Clear all, generate. Okay. No. And then this one here is going to be 0. That should be 0, right? See, switch on, switch off. Yeah, there you go. Switch on and switch off. Okay, tweak the 900 RPM spot a smidge, and we got ourselves 2 sections of idle control that we can test. That's the largest I can do. That looks good. Let's do that. Hit this. Turn it off again. It should come back down kind of slowly. Right there. Fix that guy to make this 1000. There we go. That'll make it quicker. Coming up and going down. So here it is coming up. That's pretty good. Now turn it off. Down. Quite a bit better. Still a little idle position I need to work on. So it's too much air. What's this guy? Oh, that's RPM. Yep, that's correct. Startup. Okay with that one. That's what I want. 2. Nothing. 1. 2% throttle. Idle target. Appear. That didn't work. So yeah, it's too active now. Minus like that. Escape. we go. A little closer. Most cars, though, idle at 750. What if I get this thing idle at 750 for this test? Zero right now. Okay. Closer. Still high though. Sorry, I know this is boring. Watch me just punch numbers into the laptop right now, but I'm just trying to get this dual idle function to work because I want the testing to be as seamless as possible. And not have people like, oh, well, you know, there was this fucking time that it did X or Y. So I can bring it up, just let it sit, let it stabilize itself. Yeah, and then test it. I only need a couple seconds of sampling, so as long as it's stable within for a few seconds, then we're good to go. Did that already. Max deviation 4. There we go. Stable. It's under target, but it's stable. So let's go further. My main being 1750, now I need this to be 1300. Technically 1250. Let's bring it to, oh darn it. That's good. Drop it down. Nice. Right on. All right, let me gather some data for 2000 on the stock pulley, which is what we're on now. I'll get some 2000 RPM data, and then I'm gonna put my thing together and change pulleys. So back to 2. Let's stabilize first. Look stable. Brake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. There it goes. Okay. So download the log. So that's not idle. This is now going to be 2000. 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, save. Erase the memory. Yep. Cool. Let's install that parent. I'm gonna start a new video. I'm gonna get my other phone, which I think is charged, and start another video that I'm gonna call testing and not upcoming or coming soon, the actual testing thread. So thanks for hanging out. Any questions I need to answer before I turn this off? Nope, just some spam from some Russian website telling you to go to vask.tech. Nick saying yo, and Keith, what's up, guys? So, all right, dudes, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna get my tools together and get the other phone so I can stream the other one, and then start doing it. Hey, Ashton, I'm actually gonna close this stream and start another one here in a few minutes. I'm gonna start putting the other pulley on so I can do the actual testing, and in a video called actual testing. So see you guys again in a few minutes.